What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to From the Bench. I'm your host, Will Meadows, and today is our Tuesday edition of the show. I'm so sorry I missed our last Friday episode again. I know it's like a broken record as I was sick for a week and a half, but I was incredibly sick. I was sick on Christmas Eve, Christmas. Some stomach virus got to me, and I was, not to be TMI, but I was hurling for quite a while. But we're back. I was just not in the ability to be able to speak and sit up here for 20 minutes and talk about some transfer portal action, some Tennessee action. I was not able to do it, but we're back. We're going to have a great episode today. We've got a little something different today. We're going to have our first ever in-person guest. We're going to have a seat here and a seat here, and we're going to have a good buddy, Jaden Sieber, on the show. He is an everyday listener from the bench, and I know he knows what he's talking about, so I'm excited to have him on here, very passionate about the transfer portal. We're going to talk about a little bit about college basketball because, again, even though the Vols are out of college football, are out of contention for the college football championship, it is just an uproar right now in college football, and we're going to talk about that a lot. The basketball team got a game tonight, which we'll talk about a little bit towards the end of the episode. But before we get into anything, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel and like this video and leave a comment down below on what you feel about the transfer portal, because I know everybody's got their own opinions and everybody's got their own solutions for it, but it is absolute chaos out there right now. It is like a war zone, just in the portal, in NIL, and everything else. So leave a comment about that. Make sure you guys follow all the socials. The handles are listed below, and we're just going to get right into it. Like I said, it's going to be a lot about the portal today. Maybe a portal target or two, maybe a little brother DNA in there. Just some guys that we could go after and how we feel about, guys leaving. It's no secret. We've got guys like Squirrel leaving, Mike Matthews, which if you know, how I feel about Mike Matthews. That is very upsetting to me, but we're going to get into all that with Jaden. So without further ado, let's welcome him onto the show. What's going on, everybody? We've got one of my longtime friends and, kind of an every episode from the bench listener here, Jaden Sieber. Jaden, welcome, buddy.
It's great to be here. I love this stuff. I love Tennessee football. I love all Tennessee sports, and just see one of my great friends growing up doing this. It's awesome. I'm so proud of him.
Well, I appreciate that. Like I said, he's one of the everyday listeners, and I really do appreciate that. I feel like I'm pretty outgoing and thankful about all you guys that hit up the show or talk about what you have to talk about or your opinions. Like I said, Jaden's an everyday guy. I know he knows what he's talking about. He is the debut of the first in-person guest. We've had guys like Eric and Austin Price and Billy Ratliff on here, but this is the first one sitting right here in person with us. So,
yes.
There's a lot going on in the college football scene right now. The portal, people's got their opinions about it, what they do like about it, what they don't like about it. Tennessee's going to have to go get some guys. We're going to talk about that. But I think first we're going to talk about just the portal in general. Maybe not Tennessee football, but in general. How do you feel about the portal right now?
It's ridiculous. It really is. As someone who has always wanted to be a coach, there would be nothing worse as, seeing players that you invest in, time in, and now it's even money in. It's ridiculous to see all these guys that are just so easy to jump ship for, whether it's playing time reasons or it's money reasons now.
Yeah.
Like that's what's most ridiculous is money. I mean, these are college kids. Not too long ago, none of these guys were making any money, and now they're making 6-7 figures.
More money than they know what to do with.
If not some 8, and that's ridiculous. So I don't like the portal, honestly. I think guys like Dabo Swinney up until this year, he didn't use the portal at all, and he had some nice success. So I respect him a lot. But overall, the portal, it's just ridiculous. It's getting to a point to where now it's like you can just it's like youth football. You can just switch to a different team just like that. And I'm not the biggest fan.
And we talked about it too. And I've had a bunch of people. My phone, as ridiculous as it sounds, as this just being kind of a small town show, my phone was blowing up when Mike hit the portal, when Squirrel hit the portal, and when Nico posts the questioning thing on his story. It really is ridiculous. And
it really is.
Everybody's hitting me up like saying, no way Nico leaves, right? Like, we're paying him this amount of money, and to some people's standards and most people's standards, he didn't necessarily play up to his level of money, as people would like to think. And everybody's like, there's no way somebody else will pay him that much. Ladies and gentlemen, the world that we're living in right now, Jackson Arnold is getting paid about $2 to $5 million somewhere around there to go to Auburn.
Ridiculous.
And they have the best probably the best receiver room in the SEC right now. I mean, it's just absolutely ridiculous right now. It's, like you said, it's like pee-wee football. And me and him, I mean, we talk all the time about it. So, I mean, we're not really getting each other's we're not surprised by each other's standpoints on it because we've talked about it a lot. But just in general right now, it's really utterly ridiculous in my opinion. And I don't know how the portal's the problem. The money I can kind of live with to an extent, not the greediness of it. And we'll talk about, y'all know how I feel about Mike Matthews. It broke my heart seeing him enter the portal, and I hope if you follow the show, and most of the people that listen on an everyday basis know Mike Matthews is probably, he's a top 3 favorite player of mine, so that really broke my heart. But I'm hoping we can figure it out with him. But his is just I feel like it's a money grab at that point, and it's just ridiculous. And I think the fix of it, now that's what I wanted to kind of talk about, was what do you think the fix could be? My opinion, you're not going to fix the money. People, they do deserve to get paid. And the thought of NIL and these guys making money off of their name is correct. Like, you know, if people are making money off of them, they deserve to make money.
That's fair, yeah.
But I think what needs to be changed is the eligibility with the portal. And I was talking to my dad about it today, actually. Like, I don't know if it necessarily needs to be, like, you sit out a whole year. I think a good fix could be, like, you sit out 6 games. Especially.
That happens in high school. I think that's completely reasonable.
And that's what it used to be. You used to not be granted immediate eligibility. Mm-hmm. Now, for some people, that's not fair, though. I think, and, you know, you got to kind of regulate this. If you're transferring from Power 5 to Power 5 or SEC to SEC, that's where I think that comes in, because that's where the money really is.
Big time.
But you can't penalize, I guess you'd say, a kid who just balled out at Toledo for wanting to go get his name out there at in Oklahoma,
what he deserves
is what he deserves, which is what the transfer portal is supposed to be for.
Yeah.
You can't penalize him and make him sit out half of his year and lose a year of eligibility out of that. And then you go into the part, well, I just lost with how eligibility is now and the Diego Pavia rule. I mean, it's chaos. I mean, we're sitting here trying to talk about one thing, and we're scattering all over the place. I don't know how you fix it. That's my opinion. What do you think?
Same boat. I don't really know what you can do to fix it, because now that money is introduced,
it's never going to stop.
It never is, and it sucks. But players would much rather make more money than they would some playing time, and just all that matters now is name, image, and likeness, and like that's about it. And it's money, which there's not really a fix. There's nothing you can really do. I think a 6-game suspension would be nice, but it's also like at the end of the day, it's also like it is media, it is fans. People want to see these players play. I'm a fan of players. Like, I love Tennessee football, but there's some players out there who I love to watch, and I want to see them play. So if they were to transfer to a school, a 6-game suspension, then that could cause a whole lot. I don't know. I don't really know what you could possibly do.
It kind of leaves you speechless, because you really don't know what to do. And especially at the standpoint that it's at, we see people like Jalen Mbakwe at Alabama, where he was a 5-star guy, highly touted, was a freshman this year, got some playing time in Alabama. He leaves. It's reported that he's going to go get a meal at Ole Miss, and then boom, he withdraws his name 24 hours later because it's reported that Alabama threw 1.5 at him. And, you know, it kind of happens with Boo. His was money, but it was also position, because he wants to play both sides of the ball, and we're going to see Boo Carter on both sides of the ball.
Excited.
But these guys are entering and with no intention of really leaving, but just as a pawn chip in order to get the money that they think they deserve.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is kind of ridiculous to me. I hope Mike Matthews is just a money thing, as bad as that sounds, and that we can figure out how to pay him.
Point now. It's a money thing.
I really hope he doesn't leave, because, again, y'all know how I feel. Y'all from the bench fans know how I feel about Mike Matthews. I think he is a problem, and I think he's going to be our best playmaker next year if he is wearing orange and white. Now, getting away from the negative side of things, because there's been a lot of negative. We've seen countless amount of people enter the portal. Caleb Perry entered again today. We all saw Squirrel. If you listen, he agrees with me big time on Squirrel.
Yes.
You guys know how I feel about Squirrel. I do not think Squirrel's that good. Squirrel, if you're listening, which you're probably not, nothing to you, man. You seem like a great guy,
Great
with
person.
a great locker room presence,
Yes.
and you seem like a great father and a male figure. I hope you do great wherever you go. But I'm just happy to kind of see him go, and not again. It's not a diss towards him, but if you want to be okay with 9-3 and 10-2, that's fine. Guys like Squirrel White can be your guy.
Yes.
But if you want to get out of this rabbit hole, and it's not really a rabbit hole because this is our first time getting to the playoffs, but our rabbit hole is thinking we have something and then we get killed by somebody.
Yeah.
That's what the rabbit hole is. And, we go to Columbus and get thumped by Ohio State. Guys like Squirrel White can't be playing a lot of minutes for you, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think it's stale. And I said it on a comment on the Vol Report Instagram page. I said, everybody's like, dude, he's a top 3 receiver for us. He is small, and he doesn't run the best routes. He's fast, but for a guy as speedy and quick twitchy as he is, again, he doesn't run great routes, but he doesn't make people miss in open field.
His run after catch, it's a little ridiculous.
And he falls every time he catches the ball.
He looks like Tyler Lockett out there. Like
Yeah.
but he's
Tyler
not
Lockett means to do
but
it,
he's not
yeah.
purposely doing it. Like he's so like you on paper he's so fast. He's
that's
so
what we
agile.
fell in love with
He's so
recruiting him.
accelerated. That's what we saw, and we saw flashes of that when he was younger. But I mean, he falls down more. Like he's made out of glass. Like you can just
And
it's ridiculous.
it's hard for him to stay healthy.
It really is. Yes.
And so, in my opinion, that's almost a step forward.
Yeah.
But, Mike Matthews leaving is not a step forward. As
not.
my basketball coach, Marcus Huey, would like to say, we'd like to take 1 step forward and 100 steps back. And that's kind of, as bad as that sounds, our 1 step forward was the playoffs. But if you lose everybody and can't keep people in-house, that's kind of your 100 steps back. And another 100 steps back could be your play calling, your coordinators, your receivers coaches, all that. It all goes in together. And Heupel's going to have to figure out whether he wants to be a championship contender or be a 10-2 with his buddies in-house.
Yeah.
I'm not saying somebody needs to be fired right now, but Joey Halsley's got to figure out the playbook. The play calling and offense is stale right now, in my opinion. There's got to be some more explosive. And speaking of explosive, a guy that we're going to try.
So
If you guys have read
sending the house.
the headlines from On3, if you are tapped into VolQuest or just Vol social media, I'm sure you've read that the Vols are going to try and send the house at USC playmaker. He's a receiver, but he's a playmaker. He's lightning in a bottle. Zachariah Branch, and
Phenomenal.
he could be a huge step up. I know he wants to talk about his step up from Squirrel. This kind of stems. So him and Nico Yamaliava played together in high school in California, which is
both West Coast boys. He's from Bishop Gorman, and they played in the All-Star game. Nico, they're friends. They talk to each other. They're close connections to each other. So if we could see that connection, it'd be huge for us, honestly.
It'd be huge, and it'd just kind of be a breath of fresh air for Tennessee fans. But when it comes to that, it also ties in with your play calling. If you get a guy like Zachariah Branch, you've got to have a specific set of play calls where it's just getting him the ball in open space. Because that's like where I feel like we kind of messed up Brew, didn't use him right. Was he very fast? No. Did he run the best routes? No. But that sucker could make people...
There is not a player, very few players in the country who could tackle him one-on-one, especially in the secondary.
And we, outside of a 12-6 comeback, we didn't really see it.
And it's unfortunate.
But if a guy like Boo Carter's playing offense and a guy like Zachariah Branch is playing offense, you got to have some plays where you just get that sucker the ball in open space and say, go make a play.
Yeah.
So what do you think if we can get a guy like Zachariah Branch? And also this stems, so it comes from Nico. Nico made his... I guess, I don't know if you'd call it, his thoughts, what's the word I'm looking for? Oh my goodness, I'm blanking. His concerns. Good Lord, I couldn't think of concern. His concerns at the receiver position known. His dad on Twitter made him known. His people are making it known.
Yeah.
So we decided to send the house on a guy that he knows. He's the number 4 ranked player in the transfer portal, and I think that makes him the number 1 receiver because
I believe he's a
second, yeah, because he's behind Eric Singleton.
Yeah.
But what do you think an upgrade like him could be at the receiver position?
It's crazy to me. I've been watching him for a while. I've been getting into football the past 2 years, like seriously, and he was one of the first guys coming out of high school that I really, really loved watching. Not only like he not only is he incredibly fast, but the routes that man can run, I mean, it's crazy. The fact is, just getting open is what we need in separation, especially in this offense. Zachariah Branch is that guy.
And but it's weird, like, his route tree is very large, and he's very speedy.
Yeah.
And zone is what I think he attacks best. Now, he can get open man-to-man, and I don't know if he was just kind of out of it at USC, but towards the end of the year, he struggled getting open on man-to-man as a smaller guy. But, I mean, I don't think that's going to be a problem, especially with our route schemes, with his speed. I think that he really – and quick twitchiness, because we've had speed at the receiver position, but quick twitchiness is where he could be.
We no longer have guys like Jalen Hyatt out there, which 2 years ago, Alex Golesh – use him in so many ways. I mean, Jalen Hyatt.
We talked about it.
We talked about this the other day. There was a touchdown against Alabama right there. He was, the sweep that he had, just being able to use his speed. And we're talking about a guy, Zachariah Branch, who's one of the fastest players
draw so much attention
in the country. So the things we could do with him it's ridiculous. And I love the way that he plays. Now, the heart that he showed, not the biggest fan of, but just skill, an on-paper player, I mean, it's phenomenal. He's 6 foot, really fast, and what I think compares him to Squirrel White is the run after catch ability. I mean, this guy has breakaway speed.
It's a different set of afterburners.
It is ridiculous. He 0 to 60 real quick, and he is right now, like, when it comes to catching the ball and it comes to making doing those routes he's supposed to be doing, and just, again, the speed factor, the deep ball threat, the thing that we saw in Nico that we wanted to see a whole lot as Tennessee fans since Heupel's been here. Every time, I don't know about you.
We're just waiting on a big play to happen.
Every time there's a deep ball thrown, I start standing up in my chair a little bit and I get excited. And that is a player who is going to come down with the ball, and someone who I think if you throw it up to, not only is he going to outrun the DB, but I think he has the ability to go up and get the ball. So if this is a land for the Vols, this would be huge for us. I'm so excited if we get him.
And his brother is a safety out of USC. He will definitely play for us. We need some depth in the secondary, as we saw against Ohio State.
Yes.
So getting both of them, people kind of are only talking about Zachariah. Getting both of them, is it Zion? I think it is.
It starts with a Z, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's something Z. Would be a huge get for the Vols.
He's a good player too. Yeah, he's underlooked for his brother, but he's good.
But we're gonna have to seriously make some moves, because again, I've talked to a lot of people, and a lot of people seem to have the same concern and thoughts about it, as I just couldn't get the word concern out. There's got to be a little bit of change and almost a little bit of a panic mode. We're not panicking, because again, this team just went 10-2 in the regular season and got to the college football playoffs.
Yeah.
But you're going to have to – the SEC is getting – you've talked about it a lot with me. The SEC is getting loaded around you. And you got to figure out how to adapt quick and figure out what you're going to do. And, I was looking at it today driving home. After I was thinking about it driving home, I was like, was our portal class that good? Because I don't know if you guys know, we have one commit right now, and it's Wendell Moe. And I was thinking, like, last year, are we kind of overreacting just because we see the SEC around us? Like, did we really have that good of a portal class last year? And it didn't help my case, because we had a lot of good players from the portal last year. A lot of those guys will still be here. I think everybody will still be here. Now that I think about it, I think everybody will still be here. Brazil will be here. Lance Hurd, Jermod, Jalen McMurray, Jacoby Thomas, Jackson Moy. All those guys will still be here.
Yeah,
so maybe we kind of got blessed last year, because it's every single one of those guys that we got last year played a lot of minutes. A lot of snaps, I guess you'd say. It's not basketball. But, maybe we're not getting guys, but maybe it's that the guys, we're not in office. We don't see what the coaches see, and maybe these guys think that our backups are capable of playing a lot of SEC meaningful snaps next year, and that could very well be the case. I've got faith in Josh Heupel, as much as some people want to question that, which astonishes me after growing up with what we grew up with. This guy is the guy. It's not a question, and I trust what he's got and what he thinks is best for this program, and we just got to go from there. But thank you, Jaden, for coming on the show. We have we wanted to get him on after we saw the Zachariah Branch news, because we've played a lot of Fortnite over the winter break.
Yes.
And it's turned into a lot of transfer portal conversation, so we wanted to get him on. Jaden, thank you for coming on, buddy.
I appreciate you having me here.
If you guys enjoyed him being on here, which if you didn't, please don't tell me because this is my guy.
Yeah.
He's definitely going to be on here more. When we get back to 3 episodes a week, I'm definitely going to try and have some more guests because I just think it brings more variety with another voice, another guy. I mean, this is a guy that I really trust, knows what he's talking about. I wouldn't just bring anybody on here.
Thank you.
But we're going to try and get some more people on here. But thank you to Jaden for coming on here, and we're going to go on to the basketball segment of the show and see you guys in 5 seconds. Big thanks to my buddy Jaden Sieber. He has been one of my great friends growing up. I've known him since kindergarten, first grade, and now we are seniors in high school together at Central High School. So it's great having him on here. Like I said, we talk all the time about college football, and I thought, why not have him on here for an episode? I know he knows what he's talking about, and he's very passionate about that transfer portal. We've had a lot of late night talks about it, and how he is just unhappy with it, just like, a lot of the world is. So another big thanks to him for being on the show. But we're here to talk about basketball now because that's something that's going very well for the Vols, whether we like it or not. We had not played a game since we last had an episode here on From the Bench, but we're about to head into SEC play. They've got a game tonight against Norfolk State. Better be a win. I'm not going to lie, I know nothing about Norfolk State. I know they're not that good, and that better be a win. The Vols could potentially go into conference play at 13-0. Absolutely ridiculous. Sounds too good to be true. The Vols are still the number 1 team in the AP poll, regardless of how good Auburn is. We're still stuck there at number 1, which is not a bad place to be stuck. But as we go into SEC play, the SEC is loaded. All teams but South Carolina are ranked in the quadrant 1, which is unheard of, by the way. It's would be the best conference in the history of college basketball for a single season. The only team being South Carolina out of it, and South Carolina just beat the second best team in the ACC in Clemson a week or two ago, which is just unreal. I mean, it just shows how deep this conference is. 7 of the top 13 teams in the country are in the SEC. Auburn, Tennessee, Florida, Alabama, Kentucky, Oklahoma, the A&M, the dang list goes on. It is ridiculous. It's going to be, want to talk about a war zone. We keep talking about how crazy the portal is. The SEC in conference play for college basketball is going to be unreal. We need to see guys like Chaz Lanier and Zakai Ziegler keep stepping up for us. They've been huge all year. Chaz Lanier's shooting it at a very efficient clip, dang near 50, 40, 90. He's shooting like 47% from the field, or like 48% from the field, and 47 from 3 is what I think it is. But he's been consistent, Mr. Consistent for us. Hopefully Igor been a presence. I mean, people don't understand. There's a lot of ways to affect a basketball game, whether you're scoring the ball or not. His shot hasn't been falling recently, but hopefully a little Christmas, a few Christmas presents got him figured out. Maybe he can get a little out of his slump, some more consistent scoring out of him. But he's rebounding the ball like no other for us, and been a very a big noise inside for us. So credit to him for, if you're not going to affect the game shooting the ball, you can affect it in a lot of other ways, and that's exactly what he's done. Jemai Mashack just and really before we talk about Jemai Mashack, we just need to hope we all stay healthy. Cade Phillips has been big for us. Jemai Mashack, Darlinstone Dubois, those are just our energy guys, and they got to keep being big for us. Cade Phillips, y'all know how I feel about him. Just a huge energy piece for us off the bench. He might score 6 points, but it's Tom Izzo was saying about at Michigan State was saying about it about Cohen Carr. Now, we don't have a Cohen Carr, if you guys know who that is. That man terrorizes the rim. But Cade Phillips might give you 6 points and 4 boards, but those 6 points and 4 boards are more than 6 points and 4 boards. His energy, and he really can swing the momentum of a basketball game. And I think if you're a box score watching, you don't see that. But if you're watching the game, you can tell. He's an energy shifter for us. But the Vols just hope to get a win tonight against Norfolk State at the good old Thompson Bowling Arena and just stay the path, stay the course. We're undefeated. Keep up what you're doing. We've got 2 teams now in the top 25 that we've beat in Baylor and Illinois. So all those people out there that say we have played a cupcake schedule, we've beat down everybody that's been thrown in front of us. We have 2 ranked wins now. So I don't know what else you want us to do. We can only beat the teams in front of us. Auburn's played a gauntlet, and y'all know how I think Auburn is the best team in college basketball. Do I want to admit it? No, but I think that team's incredible. But the Vols are undefeated, and we're number one team in the country for a reason. So we'll settle with that. But I think that's going to wrap it up for today. Like I said, we were going to talk more about college football than we were college basketball. But this show is really about to get basketball heavy. Not heavy, but a lot more basketball as we get into SEC play, and we're playing a lot of meaningful games. We've got Arkansas. That's the first SEC game. We're going to have some guests, some guys maybe being recruited by Tennessee, and maybe get their point of view on a win against Arkansas or Florida or a good team like that. How does that affect the recruiting of an athlete? So got a lot of good stuff ahead. Make sure you guys are staying tuned for that. But thank you guys for watching. I hope everybody had a Merry Christmas. Again, sorry I missed the episode last Friday. Was just unreal sick, but we're back now. And knock on wood right here, I'm usually never sick. So it really does stink that it's been 2 times in the last month, and I've missed some episodes for that. But we are going to be A-okay, and we're going to get back on the saddle and keep pumping out some good content for you guys. And also, if you are not followed to our TikTok, that's where we talk about all sports, NBA, all of college football, all of college basketball, NFL, you name it, we talk about it over there. So make sure you guys are following it. But just look up From the Bench on TikTok, and you should be able to find it. But thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode, and leave your comment, one, about the basketball team, like I already said about the football team. But if you've got some stuff to say about the basketball team, let me know. Thank you guys for watching, and go Vols.